Hello, welcome to another episode of John's Non Sequitur. We got the new channel up! Yay! It doesn't really mean anything. None of the stuff I uploaded looks good. I can't figure out how to size anything. It's a clusterfuck. But at least we have a place to put our shows that isn't related to just another horror podcast, right? I mean, I hate to steal gusto from my own show. I just chased a cat around the room. So I had to toss up between which video I wanted to do today and which one I wanted to do tomorrow. I put out on Facebook, on the group page, to pick a thing to talk about. It could have been anything. You could have been like, talk about distillery. And I would have been like, alright, fine, I'll find out something about distillery. And basically both people that responded to the question wanted to know things about protests. I don't know if you guys wanted facts or not, but I think you can get those anywhere. So what you're going to get is rambling. That's what I do best. Tomorrow we will have a show on Roger Waters talking about how teachers were mean to him, and now parents talking about how teachers are too nice to the kids, and what the fuck do you want? But for today, protests. Notice that I'm wearing my NASA shirt. I'm doing that because there's a science march coming, and I'm wondering, would I be a bad person to go to a science march? What are marches? What are they for? Do they accomplish anything? Well, the most popular one that people are talking about right now is the Women's March. Yes, like you mentioned, there were people wearing vaginas on their heads. Basically what that was, for those who don't know, was women who are like freaked out about Trump and his obvious hatred of women and black men and any men that aren't him and poor people and everything, and even Australians apparently. But people who are afraid of that wanted to go and march to try and have their voices heard. Now, tell me if this was a good idea or a bad idea, but they picked people like Madonna to talk for them. Okay, that's my first thing with marches. If you're going to be like a large collection of people, you need to talk for yourself. Women are not treated equally. They aren't. Are they treated poorly? Maybe in comparison to American white males, yes. In comparison to some other women in other countries, hell no. It's wherever you want to put yourself on the spectrum. They don't get the amount of credit or anything like that that males do. They don't. And just like any minority of any kind, minority being not white male, they have women's rights activists and Women's History Month, and you know, every month is okay. Before I start sounding like a crazy white person, by the way, I'm a crazy white person, but before I start sounding like myself, I do want you to know, in my opinion, the best way to stop all of the discrimination at every level, from gender to race to religion, all of that stuff, if you want to like stop it from being a big thing, don't ever report on it. Don't ever have a month that celebrates it. Don't ever bring up the fact that it is different. The next generation will be like, people. They will. If you never tell the next generation that there's a difference between a man and a woman, or a difference between a black man and a white man, or anything like that, if you never bring it up to them, they'll never notice. Like I have a kid. He just came in, made a face at me, and left. I was watching his TV show the other day, and it went to commercial, and they were celebrating Black History Month because it is February, and I was like, well, up until this point, Garrett didn't know the difference between black and white people. They're people. He plays with Falcon from the Avengers, you know? He doesn't look at him and say, this is my black superhero. It's just Falcon. He's an Avenger. But he might start looking at it differently now. And that's not good. I'm not trying to say that it's not good to celebrate everything and everyone, but maybe everybody just stop acknowledging that there's a difference. Just stop it. Stop reporting about it. Stop marching about it. Stop doing any of that stuff. And start from square one. Everything and everyone is equal except Christians. They suck. I shouldn't just pick one religion. All religions suck, but that's the majority of the one that's here. I think that every time somebody criticizes a march, there's various things that occur. First, you have people bringing up that without the marches that were done in the civil rights in the 60s, things wouldn't be better now. Well, that's the only one that you can cite. I think marches kind of are useless because you're yelling out. Maybe they worked in the 60s because there was no social media and the media was less, you can't figure out what's true and what's not. But I think they were more effective back then. Now they are not effective. The people that the people are marching to talk to get their attention aren't gonna pay attention. They already have decided long ago they're not having anything to do with this. They're not gonna help you. If you're trying to get the general population's attention, they're gonna go on Facebook nowadays and see their timeline littered with a whole bunch of shit about marches and the president and everything else. And you know what the reaction is of people who see that? They will type in, please stop all the crap about the marches, blah, 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 blah. My timeline is for recipes and baby pictures only. So it's not working. And the other thing that occurs, and we would be, it would be remiss, what's the word I'm looking for? It would be dumb to not bring this up. The rioters, the people who knock things over and burn things. We all know how great the media is at giving us happy news stories, and they don't do it. So what you're going to see on the news is protests broke out, blah, 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 blah. You're not going to see 15 minutes of coverage of people walking with signs and saying, we want this, this is what's going on, and then you see a report of all the things that they're fighting for. You're not going to see that. What you're going to see is how many windows were broken, how many cars were caught on fire, and how many people were dressed like vagina people. The news will not carry your message for you. Social media will not carry your message for you. Madonna will not carry your message for you. And that's just the Women's March. So what do I think about the Science March? I'd like to go if I thought that it would help. But do you think, even if it was impromptu, like all the scientists people got together in the last minute without saying a word and just all of a sudden showed up at the White House gate and started picketing, Trump would just shut the blinds and get on the jet and go to New York. Marches don't work. So what is going to work? Is anything going to work, I think, is actually the question. Will anything ever work? Will anything that anybody ever does make all the people in the government who make the decisions all of a sudden get together and say, this is the one idea we have, we all agree on it, let's all live in a utopia? No, it won't happen. There is always going to be inequality, unfortunately, but it's going to happen. There's just never going to be a movement that does the job. But a better solution would be to really, really pay attention to every bill that gets put in. Pay attention to who votes how. And then the next time, in 2018, I guess next year, vote. Go vote. Vote for people who are behind your causes. Don't sit at home and hope somebody else takes care of it. The president is not the most important person that's getting put into office. He's important because of the people he appoints to different things. But the people who are going to help push things through, they get voted on every 2 years, not 4. Pay attention, research, look it up, find out who's on what side, and get out there. If you can take time out of the middle of the week to go out and stop traffic for people who are trying to go to work, then you have time to go vote. Take a little bit of time out of your day every day. Instead of going on Facebook for the 4th time in an hour, take a time away, go look and see what bills are doing what congressmen and senators are doing what, and pay attention to it every single day. The information is there. It's so easy to find. Go find it. And when the time comes, you can try to help make a difference. If there's that many people at a women's rally, that many people can then go vote. All of them. Every single one. I'm not saying that the march was wrong. I'm just saying there's other things that you can do. I agree with their movement. I just don't think that a march will ever accomplish anything. It's too late. In the 60s, maybe. Not now. That's it. See you tomorrow.